Welcome to Keep What You Earn, a show for entrepreneurs and business owners who want to scale and build enterprise value without making costly mistakes. I'm your host, Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CFO and CPA who left a career serving Fortune 50 companies in Wall Street to help business owners just like you make life-changing wealth with your business. These episodes are meant to be super tactical and actionable, but please remember, consult your own financial professional before you implement anything you learn in this podcast. Now, if you'd be interested in working with us to do so, check out the show notes for more information about our company, Keep What You Earn Co. All right, let's start the show. All right, so we just talked about customer value as an important step number 4 in our profitable scaling playbook. And customer value is really all about maximizing the amount of money a customer will spend with you over their lifetime, maximizing the time that they are a customer of yours, and being able to minimize the cost to acquire that customer. So when we talk about customer LTV, which is basically the core offer profit for your customer, we talked about this in the last episode. What I want to do is hone in on how can you increase the LTV of a customer. So this is probably my favorite topic in all of what we talk about. Like, this is my favorite thing to work on with clients. I think this is my number one strategy that I love to play with, which is how do we increase customer LTV? How do we get creative with getting people to buy more of something, spend more money with you, and become a more loyal customer over time? So here's what you want to be focused on. So number one is let's talk about how much they spend with you. So this goes back to your pricing. Okay. This goes back to making sure that they are consistently buying. And this goes to recurring and reoccurring revenue. So recurring revenue is when you have like a gym membership. It's when you're getting billed the same amount every month, or it's just a membership model, or it's just the same every month. It's on subscription model. Recurring revenue is essentially a subscription. Reoccurring revenue model. Okay. This is where, and I used the example of facials in a med spa before, and this is a perfect example of reoccurring revenue. Recurring revenue would be I entered into a facial membership where I pay $50 a month and I get a certain type of facial that I can book. And if I don't use it, I lose it, but I still spend the money. A reoccurring revenue model would be where you're asking patients to book a facial, but what ends up happening is you may forget, they may skip a month. Like, there's a chance they don't spend money with you on a given month. You want them to book monthly, but they don't. So they come every couple months, or they come on special occasion. Like, they always come back, but it's in an unpredictable rhythm and you're not really sure when they're going to buy again. They will buy again, but they have to run out of something. Same thing goes with like cleansers, for example. If they buy a cleanser from you, now you have to wait until I don't know how long that's going to last them. Are they going to use it every day? If they use it every day, I should be replenishing this in 90 days. But if they don't use it every day, it could be 180 days. It could be a year before someone needs more of this. So how do I actually figure out when I am supposed to, quote unquote, refill this service and when they're going to come back in? It's like a gas station. When are they going to run out of gas again? I don't know how many miles they're driving, So it's unpredictable. So the idea is that you want to move as much as you reasonably can within your market tolerance from a reoccurring to a recurring revenue model to improve cash flow and to improve customer value and predictability. That is ideal. But if you have reoccurring revenue, that is also better than simply a spot sale. And a spot sale would be something like you sell a single service and then you just cross your fingers that they're just going to rebook with you. And there's no real follow-up and there's no real expectation or rebooking for someone to come back in and use your services. Like, it's a one and done. Hey, Shannon here, and I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying this podcast and enjoying this episode, please leave us a review on your podcast platform, whether that's Apple, Spotify, Amazon, any of them, and let us know if you're enjoying the show. One of your biggest takeaways, we would really, really appreciate it. Okay, back to the show. And if you sell one and done services, then you are really skimping on your customer value, because your customer value, if let's just say you are doing facials, but you never do the upsells and you never rebook them and you never tell them that they should come back monthly, or they have a bad customer experience all the time and the average number of facials that someone books in your spot is 1, then what ends up happening is that your customer value is now, say, $300, $200, period. And if you're spending $1,000 to acquire every customer, that's bad because you're spending more money than you're making on that customer. Whereas if you're spending $1,000 to acquire a facial customer, which you might be thinking, Damn, Shannon, that's a lot of money to spend to acquire a customer. Ha, but wait. If you do a really good job of retaining them and you message that this is a monthly service that you're going to be enrolling into, and you spend the money to get the right lead, and you get for $1,000, you get a customer. Well, guess what? If they're going to spend $400 with you in a month, and let's just talk about the loyalty they build where they come to you every month. Now they're going to take the recommendations for the products that you want them to use. They're going to start listening to the esthetician, right? They're going to start spending more money with you. But on top of that, just in the facial revenue alone, let's just say they're spending $400, and I know that might be pricey, I don't know. But if they're spending $400 with you on a single service, then what's going to happen is if they know they're supposed to come monthly, now it's $400 a month. And if they're on average, right? If we go back to our LTV, on average, you're making $300 for every one of those services. Then on average, they're spending 2 years with you as opposed to one instance. We're talking about that $7,200 price point that we talked about last time. So $7,200 is what your client is worth. Well, guess what? If it costs you $1,000 to make 7,200, that's an over 7x LTV to CAC, and you're on your way to a pretty healthy LTV to CAC ratio. So here's the thing. It's not only about reducing customer acquisition costs, and simply noting that it cost me $1,000 to acquire a client isn't a bad thing. Because if you have an $8,000 plus LTV for your client, amazing. That means that you're doing great. You're spending 1,000 to make 8. Yay, I would put money in that machine every day in, day out. So let's just think about what those numbers mean in terms of how they relate to each other and not cast judgment on one or the other as too high, too low. So when we think about the LTV, okay, there's a couple of things. It's how long are they a customer? So the lifetime value matters because, as you can tell, if they're a one and done service, lower LTV. And then we also think about recurring and reoccurring revenue models. And here's the biggest one, I think, is the upsell. Oh my God, you're not upselling enough. None of you, nobody. If I went into, and I just want to hone in on this example, I did go into a spa and I got a facial done. And I literally was like laying there and I went, oh my God, whatever that is, it smells amazing. And they're like, yes, that is our, whether it was a vitamin C serum or a hyaluronic acid or something. And they told me what it was. And I said, okay. And they didn't take the opportunity to recommend a bottle of it for me. I said how great it smelled. Oh my God, I feel amazing. This looks great. I'm in this heightened state of, oh my God, my face has never looked better. And then suddenly I'm glowing. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love it. And oh, for the love of God, take the opportunity, sell the products that went into that so I can do that again to myself as much as I can. You know, I want that as a customer. Same thing with my hair products, right? If I go get my hair done, I want to know what the hell did you put in here that made it smell so amazing? I want this experience at home, you know? And I've done that and I've had to ask for that. But I'm like, for the love of God, guys, recommend it. And you can really increase your customer value that way by simply recommending additional things that will supplement the results that your clients are getting. It's really that simple. And even if it means supplementing the results your clients are getting via recommending other services that other people offer, it's okay. But especially if you're getting some type of like referral fee, now you gotta be careful with like fee splitting laws and things like that. But like what I'm saying is if you're not in that industry and maybe you're in like legal or you're in accounting or you're in some other field, then as a professional services, you could also recommend people and refer and say, hey, like I get money by recommending this person for another solution. Or you can, find other ways to turn it into revenue. So, all that to say, just keep in mind that when it comes to LTV, you have control over the LTV by how well you upsell and how well you turn that customer into a loyal customer. And they can refer people over as well. So, here's the other thing: if you upsell them, you have to upvalue them by upselling and getting them to spend more money. But also, if you can get them to write reviews or them to bring a friend or them to refer someone, and you also give them a referral bonus, that's huge because now they're helping you acquire new customers for a very low price point. Hello, like no CAC at all. If somebody else brings you a customer, that's like zero CAC, you know? So we want that all day, every day, please, twice on Sunday. So, how do we create an environment where all of those things are working so that you can then minimize your CAC, maximize your LTV? And when we talk about minimizing CAC, it's not just about spending less on ads, don't get me wrong. It's about doing things like that, like finding the subtle little things that you can do that don't cost anything, like a great customer experience or like simply asking for a referral. Who else would benefit from this? Hey, did you know that we have a buy one, get one, or a bring your friend day? Or you could host an event and say, come on over and try our services and meet our staff and do some type of sampling of sorts, right? So where it's only costing you the samples or only costing you, say, a conference ticket if you wanted to go and be featured. So think about ways to decrease CAC on a per client level by reaching more people in your ideal client market as quickly as possible and really targeting. Not to mention leveraging the existing networks and the existing audiences of other people who are hitting your ideal client. So you don't have to be creating this from scratch and be running meta ads. You could be like, well, wait a second, I offer this type of service. So like, let's just say Shannon offers CFO. Great. I'm going to go try to find someone who's offering lending, capitalization, tax strategy, cost segregations, God knows what, payroll, bookkeeping. I need to find myself aligned with people who offer tangential services, close services, complementary, that I can then utilize and say, hey, you hit my same ideal client and you have an audience full of them. We should do something together. And I'd like to multiply the number of people we can reach as a result. So again, LTV to CAC, customer value, it's my favorite. It's my favorite way to grow a company because it implies like we have a profitable offer, we have a profitable business, we have good cash flow coming in, but we need to multiply. This is where the scaling happens. This is where scaling starts to become part of the conversation. Because if you're scaling before you have profit and cash flow, then you're only multiplying how broke you are. That's it. You're multiplying how broke you are, and you're not able to capitalize on the opportunities because you simply just haven't mastered the basics yet. You have to walk before you can run, so to speak. So on the next episode, I'm going to dive deeper into enterprise value, which is our final stage of profitable scaling. I'm most excited for this because this is the culmination of all we've talked about. And this is going to help you learn how to scale or sell your business with confidence. Okay, so if you've been listening to the show for a while, you know I love talking about profit and cash flow. But if you've mastered these things, the next level thing to be focused on is your customer value. If you have to constantly hustle to sell more and hit your revenue goals, it's important to think about how you can deliver more value, build retention, and maximize the lifetime profitability of every customer. When you invest in a power session, we're able to dive into your customer acquisition cost and determine some personalized strategies to decrease your costs and increase the lifetime value of your customers. Click the link in the show notes to learn more.